Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching in the world. My name is Sean Driver. This is the Red Horde, and oh my, is it early. Holy. Good morning, Brendan. I've got at least one of you in here. Oh, I've got my coffee ready. I've got the draw balls up. I don't know why, but this is something that I really enjoy doing as far as hobbies, activities, things to do to figure out a draw. Not being a North American, not being British, Welsh, English, whatever. This whole cup draw thing for trophies is something that I find absolutely fascinating. Helsinki's here, Massachusetts is here, Darjan, I'm sorry, I don't know where you are from, but other than a call out, this is the most fun I think you can have trying to just figure out who you have for basically sort of like a playoff series, right? I think the only other mechanism out here to select playoff teams or competition teams that's better than this is maybe the call-out system, which I don't know if they could employ that here or not. But the call-out system, they ran that in the Southern Professional Hockey League one year, where actually teams ended up choosing who they wanted to play. And I think that might be interesting. Bulk drops out. I've got a new mic, so if it is quiet, I can bump it up. It's also, I'm talking a little quieter, not wanting to blast my wife who's sleeping next to me and my kids who are just in the other room. So I've cranked it up. Let's see if that works. You guys will have to let me know. The call out system, where imagine a system where the first ball that came out, they're the home team and they get to call out whoever they want. Make it other from the same league, from the lowest team that's available. I think that would be a lot of fun too. But in any event, this is what we've got. If you are looking for the live chat or the live stream of the event, it's available on YouTube. The link is down below me scrolling at the FA Cup. If this is the first time you've done this, they're going to have 2 balls drawn out of, well, a velvet bag that goes into a bowl. And yeah, Kim, did anyone watch the Notts County game on Friday night? Price fixing? What's up with that? That's fascinating, but let me get back to it. If you haven't been to this process before, they're going to end up drawing 2 balls in consecutive order to determine who's in the tie. The first ball that comes out is the home team. The second team that comes out is the away side. And then the question is just what do you want? So I'll get back into what do you want in a second and jump back to Kim's comment here. Did anyone watch Notts County? If you haven't seen it, go and watch their FA Cup second round highlights. They lost the game, and every single goal that they allowed was the consequence of an absolutely nightmarish defensive setup. It would just be bonkers. So there, and Swirly, now you've gone to my point that I wanted to get to, which is great, is what do you want to get? There are a lot of people like me, and you can see in my top 3, Everton's away is my number 1. A lot of people who just want a large away game, an away day out. Low light's more like absolutely. Excuse me. There are a lot of people who want to have just a big day out. Obviously, you share ticket sales in the FA Cup, so that's one of my worst. Where we are Wrexham, I don't want anything to do with a League 4 team away. Yuck, gross. That would be on near the top of my list. But a big day out where you're in a large stadium. You don't want to go to a tiny little place because you're losing out on revenue opportunity because you're just sharing whatever the ticket sales are. So some want the big away day, some want a winnable game. I don't know what your preferences are. I guess I could always start up a poll that has that as an option, and maybe that's what I'll do. Let me just figure that out. So in any event, here, I'll just copy and paste this in and we'll do a little poll live. And while we're doing it, and I've got to go to YouTube to do that. It's early in the morning and my brain is not firing yet, and I will get there eventually. You're just going to have to wait. So the other question for the day is, what do we want to do with no women's match? This would have lined up for like a full day, and it would have been a lot of fun to do like 4.5, 5 hours of Wrexham, where we would have gone draw to the women's game, to the men's game. And so you'll have to tell me what you guys want and you're thinking might be a good option to pull off here. So Chelsea's always winnable. I took Everton. Obviously, you can see that there. Barnet and Newport I took because having Newport County is a winnable game, and some people want that. And if you want a winnable game, I think that would create a rivalry, the derby. That might be fun. And then I took Ramsgate AFC Wimbledon just because Ramsgate's the lowest team that still could get through. And if they do get through, it'd kind of be nice to play them at home. Winnable game. That's, if you're after that, that's probably on paper the most winnable. And I get the whole thing. I was talking to a couple of people, John being one of them, about the Yeovil game is not set in stone by any stretch. We did this with Sheffield where we knew we could get Tottenham, right? And we didn't. So take this with a grain of salt, figure out what you kind of are after. And yeah, it's just fun. I just enjoy this. That's all I got to say. So I'm going to add that poll here. Just give me 1 second. There's some people, superstition. They're going to say, absolutely not. We're not looking ahead on this one. We've got to focus on Yeovil. And Yeovil is one of the teams that beat us last year at home. One of the only teams that beat us at home last year. I mean, now they did get relegated, and it was at our hands, so they're going to be feisty. Their managers 4-1-1 against Parky. Now they've got the mascot rivalry. If you haven't gone to Twitter this morning, that's the best part. Marks and Spencer's showing up with their pig and their caterpillar, and something I don't understand about their caterpillar. If you're not from the UK. They have these Colin the Caterpillar cakes. They're 45 quid for a little like 43 centimeter, think of a ruler by 10 centimeter high thing, and they sell for like 45 quid. They're the biggest ripoff. And I'm going to get in trouble for slagging a sponsor. I'm independent. I don't care. They're going to get the 45 quid for these little tiny cakes, rolls, and they've sold like 15 million of them. I don't get it, but here's and why won't you let me start a poll? Oh, it's too big. I typed too much. Did that work? Aha. There's a poll. Going back then. Volume up a little bit more. I can do that for sure. Let's go to there. And now, if it has to go higher than that, I got to get into the advanced properties, which I'm certainly happy to do. So I've got to load up my stuff here. Once again, at the FA Cup, I've typed in the whole YouTube thing if you want to do that. But the easiest thing to do is just to jump down, go to at the FA Cup, load it all up, and go from there. And I'm going to bring that up because I do know they were playing their funny music in the background that we can end up doing it. So we're looking for ball 45. So you should have the poll there. We have a game to win. Big away day, please. Revenue. You've got the poll there at 990, 989. Hey, I'm so close to 1,000. I think I'm going to get there. And the big question is, and maybe I do a poll after this, if we get past Yeovil. Yeah, I get that. What do we do during the gap? I mean, am I going to go back and have a nap? Probably not. I mean, I'm begging the sleep out of my eyes. So what's the option that's available for us? Do we just do a sort of an extended live chat where we ramble on for an hour and a half, talk Wrexham? Do we take 30 minutes off and then maybe see if somebody wants to join or a couple people want to join and we can get a video thing? Let us do that. How do you know, Swirly, how do you know the draw results when they haven't come yet? I mean, I'm happy for you to tell us if you know. Because then you're insider. And hopefully we don't run into the drama that the Euro draw had yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. UEFA, the Euro draw was on all of the national teams, and a prankster ended up getting a hold of things. You can go to YouTube, go to Twitter, find it. And they had a phone set to make adult video noises. And every time they called in, it played in the background, and so you can hear those adult noises going on while the selections were going on, and all of the chuckles that were happening in the background. So I don't know how you're ahead. The live third round draw. I'm gonna go to. Have they? Oh, they have started it. AFC Wimbledon. Did I miss who Wrexham was? Okay, you're going to have to tell me. I missed this. Here I am sitting there getting it already. This was a failure. So AFC Ramsgate gets Ipswich Town, so that's a low one. So who did we get? I'm behind. Here I was loading it up, and I'm not paying attention, and then I miss out on all the magic. That is an epic failure of all kinds. So we're getting Shrewsbury, the team that just beat Notts 3-2. Is that who we're getting? All right. That's not the worst draw that's out there, but it's not the best. I mean, it's winnable, so that's an advantage. But it's not a huge, massive day out, if that's what we've got. I'm just checking here. I mean, Crowd Meadow is their stadium, and it's only got 10,000. So I mean, I don't like that, because if you're looking for money, then you're disappointed, because you're only going to get 10,000 seats. So other draws that are coming through here, I'll keep us updated to that. What I want to also see is a lot of top teams end up facing each other early, like Sunderland and Newcastle. That is a. And the other thing is Shrewsbury, Wrexham really going to get covered by TV? I don't know. Yeah, they did start it early, so the game must have finished early, and that's on me for sleeping. I even thought I'm going to have to make sure I log it in early, because they said they were starting at 12:15 local, so that's like they're 15 minutes early. They can't figure out what they want to do. Notts should have beat Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury was fortunate to get out of that one. But it's one of those things where if you want to have a winnable game, you'd like to have a lower division team. You don't quite get that, right? You want to get if you're not going to get a lower division team, you want to get a big away day, get paid. Now, this is all for naught. If we end up beating Yeovil, got to do that first, and then we end up getting Shrewsbury, and you get through that, now you're into the fourth round, you're into the bigger money, you've added some money into your pocket. Yeah, there's just too many delicious. I mean, even the Sunderland Newcastle game, it looks delicious, right? You're going to get Ramsgate. If they get through, they're automatically going to get picked, because what are they, 7th tier, 8th tier? So they're going to get nabbed. Nottingham Forest, Blackpool, or Forest FGR. That's not that interesting to me. Blackpool maybe would be delicious, but it is an away day. I just looking at New Meadow, bringing this up. Yeah, it's 9,997. I haven't checked the average attendance in. That's, you know what, Devon, that's a brilliant question, and I don't know. Let's hope. But if it's always pick up a Wrexham one, the thing is they've also got Cardiff and Swansea coming in this draw, and so if S4C is only picking one, you think they're going to, and well, Newport County, I guess, could get through too. They've got 4 teams to choose from, and are they going to split them around? Oh, I get that it's a derby draw, Des. I totally get that it's a derby draw, and so that's the one check mark, right? But if you're looking for benefit to the club financially, you wanted a big away day out, or you wanted something more winnable than that one. Shrewsbury Town averaging 6,300 in their 10,000 capacity stadium, playing them at home, their home, not the greatest as far as revenue goes. And Darjan's got a good point there. It is a winnable game, but if you're going to get a winnable game, do you want to take, Wimbledon or Morecambe or Maidstone United or somebody who's potentially there that's a little bit easier? I mean, there's a difference between National League South and League One teams normally. So not really, really sold. Arsenal and Liverpool in the FA Cup in the third round. QPR and Bournemouth, that's a nice little treat. I'm just trying to think of the bad thing about missing out on the draw, and that's me sleeping on it. Lesson learned as you go through this process. It's necessary to jump on and find out who we're going to end up getting earlier rather than later. Gonna jump in here. An hour and 48 minutes by train and 46 minutes by car just down the road. So, I mean, I don't know. If I was in Wrexham, this is delicious. This is tasty. It's a local game. You're going to get into it. It's near perfect for its geographical proximity. If you're going to get an away game in the midst of travel and all the doldrums of trying to be competitive in the league and having to run out for an extra game, it's nice to have that away game close by. It has all of the benefits for the football on the pitch. As far as the economics of it, not really the most amazing thing. The other advantage is, I believe it's 67,000 that you can win for getting through this round, 107 if you get through the second or through the third round. So it makes that more plausible. And so that's a help. Well, that's the best part. Let's see what Twitter says. We can do that. I mean, we're already all over the place with the big Yeovil Aldi versus Marks and Spencer controversy that's lit up Twitter. So here's some of them. Luton Town and Bolton. They didn't list us on even the interesting ones to watch. Oh, they did. Sorry. Shrewsbury Town, Wrexham or Yeovil. Arsenal, Liverpool. Stoke, Brighton, Hove. That one, that's a nice little game. Rotherham United hitting the, I find fascinating, against Fulham hitting the list. That one doesn't really trigger me. And I did put Canadian flags up there. I was at least hoping as a backup plan to hit somebody who had players like Preston North End has Liam Miller. Watford has Ishmael Kone. I would have loved to have been able to see them have a run out and take on our guys. Would have been fun. See what Shrewsbury Twitter's all about here, because I'm sure that they've got it posted up there to say they've drawn Wrexham. Yeah, it's up there, 27 comments already. So let's just have a look at huge, do not lose. Usually I care about our performance in these cups, but do not lose. I beg we turn up for that. Fantastic news. So they're excited. Deverin's connected there, knows that the youth squad already took out Shrewsbury, which is helpful considering we're getting just our academy up off the ground. Christine Sinclair to Wrexham. Don't even get me started. When the greatest international scoring footballer of all time, Christine Sinclair, ends up talking Wrexham in any way, that was amazing. If you haven't seen it, I guess I think I tweeted it out, but just heard a quiet little "I love Wrexham" was like, she's into this. Is she going to come over and play? I mean, they'd have to pay some money. But just the advertising alone that came from that one, because Christine Sinclair, if she was not as humble as she was, if she was more brash and more out there, it's not her amazing personality to just be humble and reserved and shy of the cameras. She'd have all of the pomp and pageantry that she deserves. But she's strapped up and built women's football, and will be one of the greatest women footballers of all time. And so when she talks Wrexham and talks about Ryan Reynolds and all the amazing things that are happening at Wrexham and all that sort of stuff, that's free advertising and free marketing to millions of people. Not like I guess Wrexham needs it, but that's from a very established players. Like she's got more international goals than Ronaldo and Messi and, well, anybody. So yeah, that's, even if she comes out to coach, just to play with the girls for a bit, that would be unbelievable. In any event, I've pulled in 26 for this one. I'm gonna leave it in your guys' hands as to what we do. I fell asleep. Well, I didn't fall asleep. I was literally here, chatting about background and who we're gonna end up getting, and didn't hit the play button because I thought they were starting at 12:15. There's gonna be a lot of people who jump on at 12:15 to find out how the draw went, and they're gonna be like me, going, "Well, we missed out." So, other than going through this and figuring out, I need to blast up the volume a little bit. I'm happy to sit and wait and come back in. I've got 2 more additions to the broadcast. We can chat Yeovil for a while if you guys are interested, or I can just come back on 30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes early, and just talk game and take a moment to do my thing. So, Zachary, welcome from Doha. You missed out on the draw. We've got Shrewsbury. I missed out on the draw, and so. Club an hour away, mid-table, 1 league above us. Is it winnable? Yes. Is it what I wanted as far as away days and all that sort of stuff? Not really. Will it be fun, to go and play in and because it's a derby, or to experience because it's a derby? Absolutely. But not my favorite draw, but I can see why a lot of people would like it. Focus is on Yeovil. Obviously, they're coming in hungry. We knocked them out. We were the team that relegated them last year. 4-1-1. Their coaches against us. There's a lot of reasons for them to be upset. The whole Aldi versus Mark and Spencer controversy today that you could follow on Twitter. Go and get your Percy Pigs and your Colin Caterpillar cakes. Don't get them. 45 quid. It's freaking ridiculous. But you can do what you want to do. Did we have Qatar with Doha? I think we did. I'll have to double check that one. So I guess nobody's screaming out to do anything. I can check the results of the poll before we wrap it up, and I guess we just end up joining 30, 45 minutes before kickoff and having a chat, because I'm going to be up doing nothing. If maybe I'll go on Twitter, and if somebody's having a space, I might invite them to come over to here and do our thing. But the over-the-border derby, that's one we can call it. I don't know if there's another name for it out there. If there's players, I guess we could do that before we depart. We can go to Wrexham AFC. If you haven't been to Wrexham AFC Archives, wrexhamafcarchive.co.uk, and it'll bring up our past games and when we last played at the first team division and all those sorts of things. So just give me 1 second to mute here. Shrewsbury Town, 94 games played. Last meeting, April 13th, 2008, we lost away 3-0. We lost that season in League 2 to them too, November 4th. Our last win, you got to go back to April 24th of 2007, where we beat them away 1-0. Player connections, see if there's anybody recent. McElhendon seems to be the only one. Your team is winter champion. First time in 19 years. That's got to be a league. Brandon, I don't want that midfielder. That's from Swindon Town. And you look at his. I just don't get it. Breaking the transfer record to bring up a guy who he's in his highest division. He's 27. And that rumor's been out there for a while. I see like what we want to get is a 24 to 27-year-old player, whether midfield, forward, position, doesn't matter. You want a midfielder, you want a player who's in that age bubble, 24 to 27, who has the ceiling of being at least championship. There are a number of players available that fit that mold. Some of them from the MLS. There's an American guy who played in Columbus. There's 300. Oh, and I've got a kid waking up. 350,000 quid, breaking the transfer record for a guy who's in the top of his ceiling. In my eyes, I mean, I'm only looking analytically at the stats. Yes, sign Arthur. That's impressive, and it's different trying to get him in the summer. You're trying to get him in the summer, and you try to build up the floor, right, so that you can't go down. But here's the thing: in our midfield, you're playing Lee every game. Nobody's taking him out. I don't care if you reach up to the championship. Lee's championship quality. So's Evans. You're not subbing those guys out. So those are your two. Who's the third person? You can argue Davis, Cannon, Jones, Young, whoever you want out of that group to bring in the third person. And is this going to be an upgrade from that? I don't think it is. And so I would be disappointed. But hey, you know what? It's not my money. It's not my money. They want to pay 350,000 quid that's sitting around on a transfer for a guy who's at the tippy top of his ceiling, in my humble, clueless North American position, just only based on statistics. Then go ahead. But Saidu Khan, do you get the benefit of Khan having a connection with Mendy? To me, that's not worth 350,000 quid. I don't get it. There's Dale's with me. Other player, we'll see if and there will be others that won't. But my challenge always is no, and we don't need Luke either now. See, that's the thing. We're at the position that we are, where if we're bringing people in and we're going to be looking at transfer fees to bring people in January and not bring in like an MLS player on a free, then make it worth it and go big. We're projecting right now, to be up a level next year, or at least in the playoffs to get that opportunity. And if that's the case, we're looking for championship quality so that we can end up moving up. Why are we wasting resources? Shiny new toys are shiny new toys, and as a fan, it's always fun. But there's that expectation that you have limited resources behind you. You're not going to be spending billions of dollars and everything you've got and get it to the moon. Financial fair play won't let you do that. You're capped by what you're capped at. We've got room to make mistakes because of the revenue that comes in, but I just don't want to be making ones that look bad at outset. So. I don't know. I'm going to go to transfers and rumors. If you go to Transfer Market, you can go to transfers and rumors, and you can go down and find free contracts ending under available. And if you go there, they're going to have a bunch of search options available for you. And if you decided, hey, I want to get a midfielder, and you can shrink it down by age group. You can do it between the 23 and 30 group. You can do it for here. I'll put in the United States, even though I also think there's a marketing thing of bringing in somebody from Canada, the United States, or Australia to join the club. And there's a whole bunch of people available on frees from the MLS. The MLS is between Championship and League One if you end up talking to people who play, like follow the YouTube videos and they figure out where that level is. So if you get a 24-year-old who's playing in MLS is upward trending, they have a ceiling of playing in those higher divisions, that's somebody that you can go and get. And who was the name that I was looking for from Columbus in the midfield? Charlotte, that's who it was. Derek Jones. Derek Jones, to me, is way more intriguing. 26 years younger. He played for the United States U23 team. He hasn't since. You look at the articles that were about him, he had a little bit of a slide down this year, but prior to that, he was the midfield person for Charlotte, and he's on a free. Bring him in for a month, pay him for the salary, obviously, and if he ends up at the end of the month looking like the guy's going to be the third man in, then great. And that's what I would rather do. Jordan Thompson, yeah. I should know the Canadians off. There's a couple Canadians that are coming available in the summer. And that's what I want to get. Billy Sharp to Wrexham. Kim, you're following all of the rumors. That's impressive. If you haven't seen that video, there's a blog out there. Billy Sharp showed up on a podcast, and I can't remember the name of it. And they talked about whether he would end up in Wrexham. And he said, never say never, never. I don't hold grudges. If it's the best opportunity, he'll take it. And Wrexham Twitter did not take kindly to that. It was fascinating. Look, guys, this is all stuff that we can do prior to the game, and I'm probably keen to do that. Just get my world set up here. 5:22. We're an hour and a half away from kickoff. I don't know. You tell me your thoughts. I got 26 of you here. If we are going to do it, we've got the draw. I'd rather jump into the other stream, but I think I'm probably going to take 30, 45 minutes at least and jump on. If you guys are willing to join, then do that. Yeah, but Kim, could you I don't know. I don't like the guy. It doesn't fit my character. Brendan's back in 45. I think I'm going to do the same. So that would make us a 6:15, 6:30. So I think we're going to take a pause here. The other stream is already set up and connected. Let's get everything all set up here. And we will be on because we still have a very important game to play. Shrewsbury could be fun. Still lots of questions about it, but Yeovil is up. So we're going to take a break. This went 99%? No, 90% as effective as I wanted. I should have. Next time I'll have to log on to the stream and get into it. So in any event, thank you for joining for this one. Wrexham versus Shrewsbury. Thanks for Swirly for catching that as she was watching the stream while the rest of us were having a nap. It is what it is. We figured it out, and hopefully we get to do this for the fourth round. But we've got 2 games to get through to get there. So, all right. We'll see you guys 45 minutes, maybe an hour.